From the boardroom to the bar, till the fragrance drip down my... No. Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. How are you doing? Today we're going to be taking a look at versatile fragrances. Fragrances that you could wear to the office and also wear out afterward. So they're good for the office and beyond. You can basically wear these in any type situation that you find yourself in and smell amazing and classy at the same time. So let's go ahead and jump into it, guys. Let's tackle it. 10 fragrances that are good from the boardroom to the bar and to your mom's house. And as always, friends, these will be linked down below in the description. And before we start, let me give you those codes. Put these into your memory, file them back in the memory Rolodex back there. Max Aroma, twistedlily.com, both of them, Gents10 is the code. 10% off your order is what it does. And then if you're shopping at luckyscent.com for some fine niche fragrances, the code Gents2023 will get you 10% off your order from April 1st until the end of June this year. So if you're watching this in like 2025, sorry, man. Let's just jump into it here. The first fragrance is from the house of Gucci. It's in their Gucci Guilty line, and it is Eau de Parfum Pour Homme. Now, do be aware that this is maybe a little bit more of a bold office fragrance or business fragrance. It's not your run-of-the-mill, gray vetiver type choice. And to be fair, there's nothing wrong with gray vetiver, just so we're on the same page here. But this one is, as I said, a more bold choice. It has rose, it has white florals, balsamic vinegar, I believe was one of the notes, along with lavender and cedar. It has, frankly, a nice sexiness to it. A little bit more grown up as well. So this is one that would work very well if you were going to like an evening event afterwards, or you just wanted to smell, again, a little bit classier, a little bit higher end than your more typical office scent. From there, we move on to a fragrance that is more of a typical office fragrance, but a fragrance that does have that versatility that's going to work from daytime into nighttime. And that fragrance is none other than Terre d'Hermès. This is the original Eau de Toilette version. It's woody, it's a little bit spicy. You've got orange in here along with grapefruit, black pepper, flint, and vetiver. So it does have a little bit of an earthiness to it. And that can sometimes be off-putting to people, or at least when people first smell Terre d'Hermès. They'll smell it and go, I'm not sure. I don't know if I like that kind of earthy orange vibe that it has initially, and then that woodiness as it dries down. But I think the stuff smells awesome. I love Terre d'Hermès. I think, again, the versatility here is top notch, extremely classy, and works very well during the evening, just as it does during the day. Up next, an extremely obvious choice, but just because it's obvious doesn't mean that it shouldn't be mentioned. From Creed, Aventus. Aventus you can use anywhere. We all know that. Daytime, yeah. Nighttime, yeah. In space, yeah, it'd work there too. On a date, to a bar, in the office, at a formal event, at a wedding, at a funeral, it works anywhere. Has that extremely appealing opening, bergamot and pineapple mixing together with apple, a little bit of vanilla, black currant in there. It's got birch and musk as it dries down. This stuff just works from opening to mid to dry down. It's the best-selling niche fragrance for men on the market right now, and for good reason. It just does its job. So that one, you could very easily wear to the office, wear it all day long, and then wear it on the night out as well. One more extremely obvious one that we're going to get out of the way, and then we'll move on to some other fragrances that are not quite so obvious. The next fragrance on the list is from Tom Ford. It was a private blend release that was then re-released as a signature collection fragrance, and it's Beau de Jour. This is a classic, classy masculine fragrance. It actually bears similarities to some other much more affordable fragrances out there, like Davidoff's Zeno, for example. But of course, with the Tom Ford, you are going to be getting higher quality overall. And it is a little bit more of a modern take on this style of fragrance than the Davidoff, to be fair. Lavender, rosemary, oak moss, some of the notes in the fragrance. This one is going to be a little bit more formal. It's going to be a little bit more dressed up than some of the other ones here. But with that being said, it is going to have you smelling amazing, extremely classy, as I said, and sophisticated. Okay, now some choices that are maybe, again, not quite as obvious. The first one is Versace's Eros Flame. We all know about Eros. We all know about how it sells, how it's a big compliment puller, how it lasts forever, and all of that is true. And that actually is very appealing for a list like this, because you want the fragrance to be able to last without being reapplied over and over and over again. You want it to have that mass appeal, that wearability, that usability, so that you can pull it off on the night out and get attention, but also so that people that you're interacting with throughout the day are gonna like it also. Enter Eros Flame. So this has mandarin orange, it has CHINOTTO, gonna give you a slight little green tinge there to it. It has tonka, and that tonka vanilla in here as it dries down, that really is going to command attention, and it has this nice freshness off the top that makes it, again, extremely wearable. Eros Flame, I did not really like all that much when it first came out, and then as I wore it more, I really came around to enjoying it. And I think out of the entire Eros lineup, that Eros Flame is the one I would recommend here, along with maybe Eros Parfum. After that one, a fragrance from Maison Martin Margiela, their replica line. You may be thinking By the Fireplace or Jazz Club, but the one I'm gonna go with is Whispers in the Library. So why this one instead of one of the more popular fragrances from the line? Well, those have a little more of a focus on the booziness, and maybe that works for you and would work just as well in the office and during the evening. This one though, it still has that coziness that you're gonna find with By the Fireplace and Jazz Club, but it doesn't lean as much into that boozy, woody side of things. I mean, to be fair, yes, there is wood here. It even says it right there on the front, waxed wood. But really, this focuses more on a nice vanilla kind of tonka mix. So that warmth, and that sweetness, and that appeal is done nicely here. It lasts a good amount of time, but it's not a projection monster. So it just gets this really sexy scent profile, this little bubble that surrounds you. And I think Whispers in the Library would be a great choice for something like this. Okay, let's go a little bit more youthful with the next one. Something from Valentino Uomo Born in Roma, Yellow Dream. Pineapple, ginger, gingerbread, and vanilla, some of the notes here. And Born in Roma Yellow Dream does things in a way that I think works very well in the situation we're looking at here. That versatility that can lead you from day into night. Because this goes on pretty fresh. It has that underlying gourmandy sweetness to it, yes, but it goes on, as I said, pretty fresh with ginger and pineapple kind of stealing the show off the top. As it dries down, it warms up a little bit, heats up a little bit, and gives you that vanillic sweetness that comes out. A slight gourmand edge to it. Some people have compared the dry down here, myself included, to smelling like the Stronger With You line from Emporio Armani. So you're getting this almost like twist on the Stronger With You idea or DNA with a nice freshness with a huge compliment factor here. So that one would work great from going to the office, out on a date, or out on the town. This next fragrance is a little bit more skewed toward the office side of things and skewed more towards spring and summertime, because this one is very fresh. It's citrusy, actually really citrusy. It's got a nice little hit of pink pepper and lavender, and then vetiver as it dries down. Gives you this nice woody base, and it's extremely affordable from discounters. It's Acqua di Parma's Colonia Futura. So this big bottle that I have right here, this is 180 milliliters, 6 ounces. That is huge. And for a niche house and a bottle this size, as I said, actually very affordable. Now, this does have some similarities to something like Dior's Eau Sauvage Eau de Toilette. Although Eau Sauvage does smell a little more dated, you know, a little more classic. This is like a slightly more modern take on that style, but it still has that sharp citrus in the opening. So be aware of that. Some people do not like that. They don't like the way citrus comes across in some of these more classically masculine leaning fragrances where the citrus is just like, you know, sharp, bright, right there, right off the top. This has that. But I actually think it smells very good, very fresh, uplifting, very classy. Of course, with it being an Acqua di Parma Colonia fragrance, you would expect that, and you do get that here. And I think for the price point, extremely well done. Now we're gonna go from one that's more spring summer to one that's more fall winter. And this one is from Prada. It is Amber Pour Homme Intense. Sometimes a little difficult to find at discounters, not extremely affordable at discounters either, but worth picking up. It's also been compared sometimes to Tom Ford Noir Eau de Parfum, which I'm not a big fan of, frankly. I don't really like Tom Ford Noir Eau de Parfum all that much. I think this is much nicer. Noir Eau de Parfum for me ends up smelling a little bit old lady-ish. You know, it's got some old lady vibes to it, the way the florals come across. Thankfully, this one doesn't do that anywhere near as much as the Tom Ford. It has amber, myrrh, vanilla, and lavender, some of the notes in the fragrance. Has this nice resinous warmth to it. It's another fragrance that is killer for a more formal evening. So whereas something like Eros Flame or Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Yellow Dream, those are more like night outs where you're trying to get attention in a club or a bar or something like that. This is where you're, again, a little more buttoned up, kind of like the Gucci Guilty we talked about before or Tom Ford Beau de Jour. Overlooked though, very much so, and a great release. Last fragrance, this one is from Montblanc, pretty affordable from discounters nowadays, and it is Legend Eau de Parfum. Kind of just blends in with my shirt. This one is fresh with a nice spiciness to it. Of course, smells similar to Legend Eau de Toilette, which smells similar to Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce, though this is a little bit more mature, a little bit deeper, a little bit richer than Legend EDT. As bergamot, it has some woody notes, jasmine, and violet as the official notes in the fragrance. And this is another choice where you're very safe wearing this to the office. It's a scent profile, a DNA that people love, that people gravitate toward. And because it has that extra little bit of classiness to it, makes it even better for use in the office. And then of course, great casually as you get out of the office or in more formal situations as well. So Legend Eau de Parfum, great choice. And for the price point, I think it's another steal. That's one that you definitely want to get from a discounter. You do not want to pay full retail for that because those Montblanc fragrances typically go for a pretty hefty markdown. So there we go, 10 versatile fragrances that are going to do you very well in the office and afterward. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me here today, and also let me know in the comments some of the fragrances that you will wear when you know you're going to be heading out after work somewhere and you want that fragrance to do double duty. You want it to work well while you're at work and afterward too. Thank you guys for hanging with me here. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.